Yo, what's good, Danny? Yo, Grinch, what's good? Would you prefer people to watch you on YouTube or Twitch, given a choice? If I had a choice, like if I had to actually pick, I would probably pick, probably Twitch, but I don't really have a preference. As long as people are like watching, then I really don't have a preference for where you guys watch from. But today is more like a discussion and basically me telling y'all and giving y'all hints and tips on those that want to like take the game like super serious. Like, you know, SNK has Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, Sam Show, and Art of Fighting, all in the pro circuit of next year. So I know a lot of you guys will probably want to take some of those titles serious, of course. And I kind of want to get my insight on how I was able to qualify, like my mindset going in, my mindset at the actual tournament, and how to qualify this year. And this will like basically provide the idea of like what you should be thinking about. Delson Rowe, thank you for the follow. This is some of the things that you should be thinking about going into the competitive circuit if you're looking to qualify, or if you're just looking to win a tournament in general. This will all apply, but it'll all like the general idea behind this stream is, if somebody was getting into these games, if they saw, you know, these games at the tournament and they said, hey, I want to play City of the Wolves, or I want to play, you know, Samurai Showdown, or I want to play King of Fighters, or I want to play Art of Fighting, or whatever the case may be, this is like the perfect stream, because not many players go, you know, like they don't go in depth into how they qualified or their mindset going in or how they win tournaments, etc., etc. So that is the type of stream that I wanted today. So that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about that. Will there be any sets on this stream? No. I'm just gonna, this is pretty much a just chat stream about like mindset, how to get better, and how to qualify for a really, really big tournament that you know, you put your mind to, etc., etc. So that's the type of stream this is going to be today. Thank y'all for coming through, as always, and supporting your boy. And yeah, we're going to get into this soon. My goal this year is to reach a new peak on fighting games with Fatal Fury in mind. I've been learning Blaze Blue to play with my local crew, but I want to learn Fatal Fury to a higher level for myself. I respect that, and you can definitely achieve that. You can definitely achieve that as long as you have the right mental for that. That's all it takes. This game is mostly like mental. I mean, it has a lot of things you got to execute, but it's mostly mental. Currently just in gold rank, but I am taking games off players that are higher ranked than me. Currently playing Terry. Nice, nice. That's good. Want to come back to City of the Wolves after maining 2XL for a while. I think City of the Wolves is just a better game, at least for me. What's up, Gugino? Yeah, like if you feel like that, if you feel like you want to come back to City of the Wolves because you vibe with it more, that's good. Honestly, playing both can work, because 2XKO will definitely give you some fundamental things to work on. Like it'll give you like fundamentals that can carry over to other games and help you in other games. So I think that that's like really good. So first and foremost, punish people for autopiloting. Yeah, of course. Like in this game, if somebody is autopiloting, you're gonna be able to punish them like with ease, more so in this game than another game. Especially 2X, it's not the easiest to punish people in 2XKO. So, with that being said, first of all, decide on the game, right? If you're gonna grind KOF, grind KOF. If you're gonna grind Art of Fighting, Art of Fighting, of course, is on Fightcade, so you can grind out Art of Fighting. There are people playing the game daily on Fightcade, so if that's the game of your choice, that's the game of your choice. So, for example, for me, this season will be Fatal Fury and Samurai Showdown, right? Now, the most obvious is you pick out events that you want to go to that you feel like you can qualify at, or you feel like you're going to get the best training from, right? So you pick out a couple events. Once you get those events in your head of where you want to go to qualify, even if it's online, because I know City of the Wolves will have some online qualifiers. And then Samurai Showdown is all offline, so you know you have to really pick and choose which type of qualifier you want to do, you know. So that's going to be very important. Pick the game out that you want to qualify for, whatever you want to qualify for, etc., etc. Because the online qualifier is just as important as the offline qualifier. So both are like super duper important, right? And just to give you an example of how important, Lagia actually qualified through online and he won the entire offline event. So that just gives you an idea of how important that like the online qualifier actually is, because Lagia literally qualified through the online and then won the offline event. So the online is just as important as the offline, so your training should be the exact same. Like you shouldn't weigh, you know, this one more, that one more, etc., etc. All of your training should be the exact same. Like, so you should take, wherever you're playing, you should take it just as serious no matter what. So that's very important, and that's like a mindset thing, because sometimes people will like be like, oh, only offline matters. Well, no. Well, there's qualifiers online and there's a lot of tournaments online, so offline is not the only thing that matters. You need to be getting your training somewhere, and if you can play online tournaments, and if you could just play online in general and get, you know, that training from, you know, player match, rank, etc., friend group, whatever, that is what you need to do. So you need to always set goals for yourself of what you're trying to do. So whatever you're trying to do, you need to set a goal for yourself. So last year, my goal was to enter like mostly all of the online tournaments, play in those tournaments, and try to see how good I was getting by the week, right? So I would enter like maybe 2, 3, 4 tournaments a week. And I was playing in all of these tournaments with the expectation of, let me see how good I can do in these events, and let me see where I am weak at, like what I'm specifically weak at, like, you know, fundamentally in this game, right? I would want to see what I was weak at. What's up, girl? Just so I can improve every week. So in the beginning of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, I was playing a lot of different characters. I was on Hokutomaru, I was on Hotaru. Then I started playing, then I kind of got off of Hotaru and Hoku and started experimenting with other characters like Mai. I experimented with Mai for a little bit, experimented with Bijane, all of those characters, and I was like placing with those characters as well in some of these online brackets, and that's where a lot of people would like watching me play, because I was playing a lot of the characters nobody was playing, right? It was furthering my knowledge, because of course I made a guide on YouTube of every single character in the game. So like my knowledge was going up because I was like playing with every character in the game. Similar to how I did in Melty Blood type Lumina. And with me being able to do that, and me just being able to like rotate and play with all of these characters, my knowledge of the game was like large, right? So I learned, and everybody's gonna learn differently, I learned fighting games the best when I started to pick up the entire cast, because then I have a general idea of how the character plays, and I have a general idea of how to counter the character. Now, everybody is not going to be able to do that, or not everybody's going to be, like, everybody is able to do that, but everybody does not have that approach to learning the game. So that's my approach to learning the game. You can take that approach if you would like. You don't even have to learn the character like in depth. You just learn the characters like basics, and then go play them in like player match or something. And just so you understand the weaknesses and the strengths of the character, that really does help. So I think that that's like super important. That's like a very important aspect of like understanding the game at like a level where you won't get hit by this because you know that it's minus this, or you won't get hit by this because you know this is plus, you know that you can just defend this and get out, etc., etc. That's gonna be how like every game is gonna function. Even with like if we were talking about Sam Show, same shit. Like you would want to kind of pick up everybody, understand how everybody works, etc., etc. Now that game is a lot older. This game is a lot newer, so it's a little different. But it's the same concept. That's how I basically approached that. Not much bought Sam Show. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's pretty fun though. Yeah, Sam Show is dope. It's funny you just got online. Yeah, Sam Show is really dope. It's really fun. I have been getting every character to go for now, and then I'm going to return back to Terry. It's been really good for learning how people beat things. Exactly. Because if you pick a character, a person will beat you a certain way. You be like, oh, that's how you counter that? Bet. Because a strategy, every strategy can be countered. But if you see somebody counter your strategy in real time, then you know that that's an option. And then when you go back and fight that character, you can counter that option. So it's like very, very valuable, right? So I entered a lot of tournaments in 2025. I entered like every like tournament weekly because I was just playing and playing and playing and trying to understand. So my first goal was to try to basically become dominant in the game and just see if I can just beat people based off of fundamentals and knowledge. So I did win a lot of the online brackets. I have a lot of online brackets that I won with a lot of the best players playing the game. Like, so I won a lot of those online tournaments, and I was like, okay, well, this is a good goal because now I know I am one of the strongest here, you know, in the States. I knew I was one of the strongest just based on my ability to adapt, my ability to beat all of these players, etc., etc. So that is one of the most important mental things was I know that I'm strong, so let's keep getting stronger. One of the most important things you can do in a fighting game is be confident. There's a difference between confidence and there's a difference between confidence and cockiness, like where you feel like you're too good to actually learn anymore because you already are winning and you don't necessarily want more because you're already winning. Even if you're winning every tournament, you should still be trying to get stronger and learn more, because you'll hit a roadblock that you won't even really notice if you start to tend to, oh, I'm already good, I don't really even need to practice this game anymore, or I'm already good, I don't need to really listen to what you're trying to tell me to get better, etc., etc. You'll hit this invisible wall, and when you hit that wall, it's hard to get past that wall. It's actually hard to break that wall because you already feel like you know too much. And that's like a weakness to a lot of players here and a lot of different regions, right? Where we'll feel like, oh, I know too much, I don't need you telling me, etc., etc. That can get you in trouble, and you'll hit this invisible wall. And why I say it's invisible, because you really don't feel like you're hitting it, but you are. And a lot of players have that wall. And it's not just this game, it's like any fighting game, any game in general, where you feel like the person has way too much knowledge and you just can't tell them anything. That is like very, very scary, and you never want to do that, because once you hit that invisible wall, like I said, it's hard to break it, and then people will surpass you, and then mentally you'll be feeling like, oh, I shouldn't be losing to this guy, and you're still hitting that wall. You're just hitting that wall, hitting that wall, hitting that wall. You can't break it. The only way to break that is to actually admit to yourself that you are not strong enough and you can keep getting stronger. Once you do that, you'll punch through the wall, you'll get past the wall, and you'll keep improving. But a lot of players are still punching that wall. And this is every game. Tekken, Street Fighter, it doesn't matter. Like, they're punching that wall. Same in Sam Show. It's a lot of players that I've seen, that I've interacted with, that I've already talked to in Samurai Showdown. They're hitting that wall. They're hitting that invisible wall, and they haven't broke it for years. And that game's been out for a lot of years, so they still haven't broke it because they already think that they're good enough, and they're not. You know what I'm saying? And you have to always tell yourself, hey, I'm not good enough. I can still get better. So that's a very important mental thing, and that's like every game. Yo, Abumar, what's up? What's up? Thank you for that follow. That is a very important, like, mental thing. that you really have to understand is you can always grow no matter how strong you are, and no matter how good you think you are, you can always grow. But if you start punching that invisible wall, and I will tell you, majority of the FGC, I would say 90 in the FGC, I would say probably 95% of the player base is actually punching that wall still. 95% of the player base. That's a very large player base. 5%, the rest of the 5% are not punching that wall, and they're consistently getting better. That's why it's not like a large sum of players, because like the FGC is huge. It has a lot of players. So that 5% that I said is still like really good. That 5% is the really good and strong players, and the 1% is mostly the players that are winning these big events. So that's the difference. Hope to see you at Frosty's, brother. Happy New Year. Yo, Happy New Year, bro. Yeah, the plan is to go to Frosty's and Genesis. So if plans all the way go through, yes, I will be at Frosty's and Genesis grinding. I'm very excited to compete in the pro circuit this year. Hope to see you again soon too. Yo, Smasher, what's good, family? I always think of DBFZ, that Evo when Wawa beat Nitro to win. Nitro was unreal, but Wawa was playing on a different level. Wawa, and that's the thing, like a player like Wawa is like just a person that's never punching that wall that I said. You see what I mean? He just constantly getting better and better, and he never stops because he knows he's good, but he can always get better. Same with Nitro. Nitro has that mentality where when Nitro won Evo, it's like, I know I'm good, but I can constantly get better, and they don't hit that wall. Because a person that hits the wall will never win a tournament. Like, they'll never win a major. If you're hitting walls because your mindset is wrong, you'll never win that major. It's not possible. Because you've already hit a wall. But a person that's constantly improving can win that major and keep winning, you know? You shared a while back. I've leveled up so much. Good shit, bro. Damn, I appreciate that. What's good? The gulliest gamer. I appreciate that. So, with that being said, chat, the next step, right? What is the next step? Once your mental is good, so you're not hitting that roadblock. Like I said, I was entering every online tournament. I was playing a lot. So, I was just constantly getting better and better. Even my tournaments where I might have not won or did the best, I would review the replays the next morning, make mental notes or notes on my phone. Notepad in your phone is peak, chat. So if you are not using Notepad in your phone, you need to use Notepad in your phone. 1000%. So use Notepad, make notes, because even if you're at a tournament, if you made a note, like let's say it's something very simple. Your note is, hey, like my opponent, what is my opponent doing when I press this button? And you forget that at the tournament, like your brain is thinking about so much other things, but you made a note in your phone. So when you go on the stage and now you're fighting Shao Hai, you look at your phone and you're like, I almost forgot. Bet. And then when you fight him, it's already hot on your mind because you made a note. But guess what? If you don't make that note, bam, you can make a note on player habits. Like if you think, like for example, like if you say, oh, Goichi will only tech throw if I forward dash and back dash, make a note in your phone. Because guess what? When you fight Goichi at the tournament, now you have that note, you look at your phone and you say, oh, I remember. But guess what? If you forgot, guess what'll happen? Because that's one thing about Asia, you always see them looking at their phone. Before, after matches, in between, they're looking at their phone. Who knows what they're looking at, but it could potentially be notes. It could potentially be notes. So like that's very important. If I use clone mode, I downloaded replays of high tier players and train the clones. It helps me work against certain tech. Yeah, that's really good. Struggling with Fatal Fury, newbies and rank just get smashed by vets. Do I need an arcade stick? I'm using leverless but keep dropping inputs. My brain always stack. Any tips? So controller will always be preference. You could just use whatever controller you feel comfortable on. If you're using pad, if you're using leverless, or if you're using just you know, a traditional arcade stick, that part won't matter. That part is gonna always be your comfortability. But if you're new to Fatal Fury and you're losing to vets, that's a good sign, because that means that the game has a high skill ceiling, right? So that's a good sign that you're new, but you can't beat anybody that has been playing the game that's actually strong at the game. That's a good sign. So with that being said, what you want to do is you want to keep improving. So the way that they're beating you, the way that those better players are beating you, you need to be saving those replays and taking notes on how they beat you. And then the way they're beating you, you need to use that to beat them and other players. Because if you're losing a certain way, how about you take their strategy and use it against other people? And then if their strategy works, you stick with that strategy and you keep adding different strategies to your game plan, and then you'll just keep getting better. Because if you're losing a certain way, there's a way you're losing. So why not just pay attention to the way you're losing and then use that to beat other people, and then you'll be able to beat them. Eventually, it'll take time. It's not overnight, but that would be the game plan. Yeah, notes are like super important. What's up, Billy? Hope you had a great holiday season. After playing Deceptively using Mr. Big, I have a few things I need to work on besides dropping combos, but this is the cycle of life. After reviewing my matches with him. Nice. Yeah, like, yo, Abu, thank you for that YouTube sub. Yes, my holidays were good. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to everybody as well. Yeah, it's really about focusing on why you lost the set, taking notes on why you lost the set, watching the replays, and then just fixing why you lost. Like, that's why when I play casuals, I really don't care how much I necessarily win all the time. I care about the losses that I make and the mistakes I make and how to improve those so I make less mistakes. How long before playing at the SWC did you know who you were playing against? Did you study your potential and guaranteed opponents? Yes. So I knew that I was playing ZJZ before the tournament, like a good amount, to where I watched a lot of his match footage. I watched some of his streams. I saw some of the things he likes to do, etc., etc. So I kind of had an idea of how he would play and what he would do. But of course, when you're in the hot seat, it's going to be a little different. Because one thing I knew about him is he doesn't command grab much, right? So I was like, the mentality I had was like, I don't have to panic on wake up because I know he's not going to command grab me as much. So I can kind of just play my game and try to like out neutral him. But I knew he kind of played slow. He wasn't like super aggressive. He was like a slow player that uses fireballs a lot. So I kind of had an idea of what I needed to do versus him. But it's very important, especially at something that's like a qualifier, not a qualifier, like a finals tournament or something like where you know who your opponent will be. Is very important to kind of like research the opponent. Sometimes over researching can be bad because you'll think that they're going to do things and they don't do things. They'll do things against you specifically. So it can get you in trouble. But you using like a good idea of it is good. Like to know that, hey, like this person likes to do this person likes to do that. Just keeping that in mind. Then those are good things. So yeah. So like the next step I would say, after like I was playing in all these tournaments, is character choice. So with character choice, I will say it is important. It is important. Yo, Arlo, what's good? Happy New Year. It's very important to pick a character that if you are, so this is the difference. Like if you are prepared to fight in a big tournament that you gotta travel for, or like a huge tournament, you should be picking a character that you vibe with. And what do I mean by vibe with? I agree, after playing with him, I noticed I haven't punished a single red blow and realized I struggle a lot with red blow, especially when I ran out of SPG, capitalizing on small things. Yeah, red blowing is very, very important. Like counter red blowing. Like understanding when the opponent likes to red blow. So that's really important. Do you do a similar thing at a big event before top 8, or do you just fill it out? Before a top 8, like if I make top 8 and it's like, you know, I make top 8 on Saturday and the tournament is Sunday, I don't really research my opponent too much. Like not crazy, but something like an actual like tournament for like huge amount of money where you know exactly who you're fighting like a week prior, that's when I'll look up my opponent. But if I make top 8 on a Saturday and then I gotta play on a Sunday, I probably won't look up too much. I would rather just play them in the moment, because at that point, if I made top 8, I know I deserve to be there. So anybody I fight, I'm gonna just run my game and just adapt. Yeah, Mr. Big not having an uppercut, that's kind of rough. Would it be playing a character who feels the most comfortable to you regardless of character strength? So that's what I was about to talk about, Garin. So you make a good point. Do you play a top tier or do you play a character that's more comfortable to you? I would say you want to play a character that's most comfortable to you. Do not just pick a top tier because they're top tier. You still have to play a character that fits your playstyle, because you can play a top tier and they not fit your playstyle. And this goes for like any fighting game. You never want to just pick a character based on tier necessarily, because a character based on tier does not mean that they'll automatically get you to where you need to be going. Because if primarily, if you've never got used to using a fireball, like if you're not good at using fireballs and you go and pick Hotaru, it's no guarantee that she's going to be able to carry you to victories or get you further in a major tournament. Same with like Hokutomaru. Like if you're really not like the cat and mouse type, then Hoku still might not be for you, even though he is like top tier. Cain might not just be for you just because he has set play and, you know, he can zone and stuff like that. He still might not be for you. So you have to pick a character that, you know, benefits you. Like, let's say you like weird and goofy characters. So, like, let's say you play like Valdo in Soul Calibur. Guess what? You might like Salvatore in this game because Salvatore has really crazy mix-ups and he's like weird. So he can throw off people. And nobody really plays him, so you have an advantage that the matchup that people might not play. So you might benefit on a Salvatore, because even though Salvatore is like, he's not one of the best characters in the game, but his mix-up is very dangerous and he can beat you. So you might like him. That's the thing. So you have to kind of pick what character is going to benefit your style and what character that you're going to vibe with the most. Versus like saying, okay, I'm getting Fatal Fury, I'm going to play him. But you've never played a character like that. Now, the question, can you learn the style? Can you actually pick up the style? Yes, you can learn something that you've never learned before. Like, you can learn a style. Like, if I wanted to learn a grappler, I could be like, oh, okay, I can learn a grappler style. You can learn a style. You can pick up a style. So it's not like if you've never played that type of character, you can't learn that type of character. But if you've had years of experience on a certain type of character, like if you've had years of experience on like a character like Dhalsim, you might like Billy just for the range that he provides in this game alone. You know what I'm saying? So like the range that he provides, you might actually like that. Just like if you play like a super duper like rushdown character, you might like Gato and he might benefit you. I.e. Punko is a very aggressive player. Punko likes to make you guess and he's like super aggressive. And guess what? He plays Gato. So that's very important when you're looking to pick your character of choice. If you're looking to pick your character of choice, then you want to pick a character that's going to benefit you. Do not pick a character simply because they're top tier. If you like a keep away character that can play that keep away passive style, you might have results with Mai. Even though Mai might not be the best character in the game, she still has that keep away style where Hokutomaru can probably do it better, but she comes with a very, very good EX Fireball that is arguably the best EX Fireball in the entire game. So you see what I mean? It's like it kind of just depends at that point. Yo, Super Duper Kid, what's good, family? Happy New Year. Hope you and the family is doing good. This man supported me all 2025. He always been in my corner. Always been in my corner supporting your boy since I had braids, since I had a goddamn perm, since I was like in the gap playing Street Fighter 4. This man has supported me. So shout outs to Fonzo, shout outs to Super Duper Kid. Always good to see you in the chat. Would you consider learning multiple playstyles as a fundamental skill? Yes, it is a huge fundamental skill. If you're able to learn multiple playstyles, you could be one of the most dangerous players, period. Because you could just adapt to every situation. You were really hyped for Andy, but he felt so weird you dropped him. Andy is weird, but like that's another thing. Some players are really good with like learning that style, that tricky can throw you off, unpredictable style. A lot of people are good at that and like can master Andy. So I feel like you should probably re-explore Andy because I think he's a very strong character. Yo, Ryota, what's good? Yeah, exactly what Super Duper Kid said. You want people to play you, not the character. Because in tournament, that factor is huge when if you just pick a top tier and everybody knows the matchup, that really doesn't benefit you. Because if we go back to SWC, a lot of the Hokutomarus lost early on. It's not because they're not bad. Like, it's not because they're bad or anything. It's everybody that qualified was godlike. But the problem is, it's like everybody knows the matchup, so you got to play 10 times harder. So even though the character is good, you still got to play your heart out. And the character has to still be your style. Are there any characters you think are slept on? Yeah, it's plenty characters I think are slept on in this game. I'll cover that in a few though. But there is plenty of characters I think that are slept on. Playing another character that's more fun regardless of stream, which I tend to do as well. Yeah, like if you play a character based on fun factor, sometimes the fun factor can make you push. Yo, Mario, what's up? Sometimes the fun factor will make you push a character to different heights that nobody else is pushing the character. You know what I'm saying? Came from the recommended page. Hey, for real? Nice. That's actually awesome. Like Grinyas put a lot of work into Preacher when not a lot of people were playing Preacher, and Grinyas had really, really good results. So it just goes to show that he really liked the character, so he was pushing the character to different limits, and that's kind of the biggest thing. Is like if you can push your character, if you can constantly push your character to different heights, then that's super important. So sometimes the fun factor will make you play really, really ridiculous with a character. So keep in mind that, you know, a lot of times I pick a character that I like visually, that's like looks really cool or something like that. Usually I pick a character based on visuals, and then based on their playstyle, I might switch or I might just adapt to the playstyle. Because it really just depends, you know? It really depends. So I would say, yeah, Maya's definitely slept on. I think people now feel like Preacher is pretty solid and strong, especially after that last balance patch that she got. Ken, a lot of people think Ken is pretty weak. And Chun-Li, a lot of people I feel like think that she's very solid and she's strong enough. But people just don't really like that the way her dash is. So yeah, generally speaking, I pick characters based off of visuals, of like how cool they look or something, or if they visuals or playstyle. So visuals and playstyle is like super important to me. Yo, Hosenka, thank you for that follow. So with that being said, choose your character, choose the character you want. Hopefully they benefit your playstyle. If they do not benefit your playstyle, do not worry, because you can potentially still adjust to that playstyle that they benefit, right? So you want to play a character that is going to benefit your playstyle, and also picking a good character is very strong and smart. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying pick the worst character in the game because you like them. If you do like them, that's cool, but then you have to weigh in the factors. Are you trying to win like a major event? How many bad matchups does this character have? How far are you really traveling to play with this character? And how much does this tournament win mean to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to ask yourself those questions. Once you start asking yourself those questions, your pick will make sense. So, like I said, I played multiple characters in this game, but for the SWC, I ended up on Hotaru. So why did I pick Hotaru out of like all of the cast? So of course, I was having a lot of good results on Hokutomaru, and he is 1000% my playstyle, but there was things about his play that I really didn't like. Some of his like his damage output was solid, but I felt like at certain moments and times, especially the way I played him, because I played very like lame and like passive at times, I felt like I was getting value, but I felt like I could get more value if I played Hotaru because of the way her matchup spread like shaped things, and the fact that she did have a command grab and she did have a reflect. So it made me say, hey, like this character can kind of out neutral so many characters. On top of, she has a very slow fireball, so I can get in when I want to and just run behind it and pressure people. So, and because I come from a background of Chun-Li, so like anybody that knows me knows in Street Fighter I played Chun-Li in like every Street Fighter game. So I have a huge background of playing Chun-Li, a very passive Chun-Li. So it only made sense that I played Hotaru. I was like, well, she kind of feels, she has the vibes of Chun-Li because of some of the things that she could do. So that was my character choice. So with that being said, I went into the circuit playing Hotaru, right? So we pick Hotaru. I will pick my, this is my Karin Kanzuki color, so we'll pick that. My Magneto color, we'll pick that. So with that being said, now we get to the fun parts of the stream. Okay, so now to the fun part of the stream, chat. Now that I had my character, I had to build a strategy that would work against everybody. A strategy that would work against everybody. And yes, Billy, that is a good point, because Abumar actually went to the SWC and did phenomenal with Kim Dong-won when a lot of people thought that character was weak. And he used to play Cain, but switched over to Kim Dong-won and did wonders. So you see that that character probably fit his playstyle way more, and he did a lot of work. So now that I had my character, I had to build a strategy that was going to work against everybody. So what strategy did I think of on my own, like that I just was like, hey, I think this strategy will be able to win me games and or tournaments. So one thing about Hotaru is she's very good. This game is based around rev gauge. So anybody that knows, anytime you do a special move, you use some rev gauge, right? So that was 25. Then if I go into another special move, that's 40. So one thing that's important about this game is when you block, you do take rev gauge chip. Like, you see what I mean? That did 7%. So I wanted to get to a point to where I knew the exact values of what I was doing. So in some of my matches, you would see me do this because I knew it would give me 14. I knew it would give me 14. Oh, my bad. I am covering up the gauge. Good looking, good looking. Okay, so you see that how this is 14. So Hokutomaru gets revved up to 14. I knew these numbers when I was playing her super active. I knew these numbers. So I knew how much I could like basically get on my opponent's block, put a string on them, and try to rev them up so they could go into the overheat, and I could basically guard crush them and beat them. And I was basing my strategy on that because everybody could get their rev gauge increased, right? So it's like, boom, that's 14. So one of the primary strings which Hotaru has is like really good and really one of the strongest block strings in the game is target combo light reflect. It's automatic. Boom, boom, boom. 17%, right? It gels you on block. The only way you can get around this is to just defend it from the start, or you hyper defend it to get out. If you just take that on block with no defensive mechanics, you're taking 17 every time. So imagine if somebody does this. 31%, right? You're not going to press a button because you're afraid of the +4. So you can play around with the frames a lot. This is -1, right? So this technically is fake, but if you press a button, I can counter hit you, right? So with this, I was labbing, and I'm giving y'all an insight on my brain of what I was actually labbing specifically versus characters to counterplay everything. Like, these are the things that I was actually like labbing. Oops, not going there. Reversal, that's what I'm looking for. So with that being said, crouch light punch, right? So he's gonna press crouch light punch. As y'all know, Hokutomaru has a 4 frame, right? So doing this is fake, right? Now you see what's happening, right? All of this is fake. But you would have to make your opponent press, right? That beats 5 frames, but it lost to 4 frames. You see what I mean? So this would beat a 5 frame. It would trade. And in a lot of my matches, you would see me do this, and I would trade the opponent into a combo. So I knew specifically if I was fighting a 4 frame character versus an actual 5 frame character, I knew the difference of what I was fighting. So I could like prepare, like, okay, if this person mashes in between this, I can hit them. If this person doesn't mash in between this, I can't hit them. Let's see if they mash, because I would try to see specifically if people would mash, because I'd be like, okay, does he know? But you see this, right? You see this. So now, because you know that exists, if I feign it, I'm going closer to you. If I don't feign it at all and I just do this, do that, you're pushed back. So now that my opponent knows that, my opponent might actually swing. And then they get wild punch. You see what I mean? So because I already knew these interactions would happen, I had something ready for my opponents already. And I'll show like Marco or something, just so I can show you the 5 frame joint. So same thing, we're gonna make Marco crouch light, and as you know, Marco has a 5 frame. You see that trade? That trade got me a lot of victories because my opponent would eventually mash. So this automatically is on my YouTube from the archive because I duo stream. And what's good, Pink? So because of this, I'm able to trade it every time. And it puts him in a situation that if you have a 5 frame, you'll always lose that. And if you go back to one of my matches in the qualifier when I fought Corval's, I actually trade comboed him. And it literally led to my victory. Because here's the thing, it's like this is fake, but this also trades too. If I just do this, that's an auto trade because it's only -1 on the feint. So I basically put my opponent in a situation with the feint, and I also put my opponent in a situation with this to build up their rev gauge. You see that? Like, now, guess what? There's something simple that I'm doing. Now, if I rev you up right here, you're at 17. So that means if you opt to do an EX, it's going to be pretty expensive. So now that was 25, right? So boom, 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 boom. He's already at 42. That's pretty expensive. Now if I get right back on his block, or if I want to do something like this, now he's in danger. He can't do any more special moves. So you eliminate a core part of the game when you rev somebody up. So my biggest strategy with her was if I can keep doing this target combo to somebody, reset neutral, and run back in and do it like this, boom, 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 boom. 22. Simple strategy. This strategy is going to work against everyone unless they know how to hyper defend. That's literally the only way. If they don't know how to hyper defend, they're not going to be able to get around this strategy. They're going to hyper defend, or they're going to have to just defend the initial hit. If they cannot do that, then they're just going to get revved up and they're going to lose. And majority of the player base, especially even at this level, was not getting around this. This right here, nobody is still... I mean, people have gotten better now, but even still, it's going to rock on your block. So the only thing that you can do is a mechanic that is not the easiest to do. And because it's not the easiest to do, you eliminate so many players based on this one strategy. So you want to pick out a strong strategy for your character. And a strong win condition. This could be a win condition, you see what I mean? So if you create this as a win condition, and you use this strategy and you actually play good in the match, you should be able to win. And that's the thing, like, you should be able to win the match. I do this, boom, 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 22. I do this again, boom, 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 44. EX fireball, wait, I do a couple feints. Now, now he sees me feint a couple of times, so we're gonna do block count 3. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this, boom, 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 boom. And this was actually happening in real matches. This was happening in real time because a person doesn't like you feinting over and over and over and over. So generally they will try to press. Now you could JD or you could press. A lot of players were choosing the press option, right? 1, 2, 3, boom, trade combo. Trade combos are like super important. Can you turn on the frame meter, please? It will help. Frame meter? I don't even know how to turn on the frame meter. You're right here? No. Frame meter. You probably won't be able to see it much because my camera is going to be in the way. Let me see. Put my camera up there. Avatar Yaya, what's good? Hope you had a great holiday and New Year. They have to press to get rid of the rev gauge. I never really studied my rev gauge effect on the opponent. That is one of the most important things in this game is rev gauge. Like understanding the rev gauge. See, frame meter, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Frame meter is just not a thing of my era, so frame meter doesn't do anything for me visually. But if it can help somebody in my chat, I will keep the frame meter on so you can see a little bit. Yeah, Gato is really good at rev gauge pressure. Like, super good. Because you got to think. Like, if you're doing stuff that you know a person isn't going to press off of, you can do it a couple of times. Like, boom, boom, boom. Like that. Then you weigh the risk reward for them pressing a button, right? So I think that's like super important. Building a strategy with your character, and this does not just apply to Hotaru. This is any character that you want to play. Like Ronaldo, he's a set play character, so if you want to build your strategy off of like set play or like Kain characters like that, you would go about that. If you wanted to play somebody like Bijane, she's really good at also pressuring you because her close stand C is a 5-frame close stand C, which is very uncommon. So like basically because she has this, she can always frame trap you, and that's like really good. Stuff like that. So picking your character based on what strategy you want to try to get to your win condition. You have to have a win condition though. Always have a win condition with your character or the strategy that you want to go for. If you do not have a win condition, nothing happens. Right? How do I get to my win condition as fast as possible is the question that you have to ask yourself. If you cannot get to your win condition, then what's the point? You don't have a strategy to win. And that's not good. So you should always have a win condition. How would you adapt if the opponent keeps using Rev Guard? If your opponent uses Rev Guard, that also means that they're just sitting there using it, right? If your opponent is using Rev Guard, then how you beat Rev Guard is like this. I will show you. With Hotaru, it's a lot easier because if somebody Rev Guards, you can just do that target combo I showed. You can do that target combo I showed you and beat it. But if somebody was like Rev Guard on Bijane, you would basically want to do a string. Like, so you see how like when you Rev Guard, because you can Rev Guard backdash that string with her. If I knew somebody was Rev Guarding, I would use string. You see how that took him to 30? You see how that took him to 30? Where did my frame thing go? Did I cut it off on accident? I did. I don't know how I cut it. You see that? How that took him to 30? That's the type of stuff you do anti-rev stuff. Because if he wants to Rev Guard, that is gonna take him like boom, boom, boom. And then if he hits a button, he's gonna get counter hit. If he doesn't hit a button, I get another hit on his guard. He's gonna have to drop the Rev Guard eventually. So I take this off. Okay, I got what I want. You see what I mean? He's at 19 right now, but I have clean advantage over him. I have a clean advantage over him because I did this. Because this is +4. So now, does my opponent press a button on the C, or do they not press a button on the C? Because if they don't press a button on the C, you can just throw. If my opponent does press a button, they're going to get counter hit by the far C. So like now you're playing mind games, but you revved him up so high, you're revving him up and you're plus on block. So that's a better way to like deal with that. Or because he's still holding rev gauge, you want to make them drop the rev gauge. So whatever you have to do to make them drop the rev gauge to keep your offense going. So if you have a plus frame attack or stuff like that, those are the type of moves that you want to do to to make them want to drop that rev gauge. Because if they don't, then you just auto pressure them. Because like, even if I did this, that's 18% rev gauge into plus frames that you can't press on. So it's like, boom, 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 boom. That's 31. So at this point, it's 31 and she's still on offense. So that's the best way to counter rev gauge. The reason why you don't want to throw a rev every single time is because a person can just jump out of rev. So if they fuzzy, you're just gonna jump on top of their tech. So you have to be very careful. Somebody that's glued on rev, they only rev, then yes, throwing is very powerful against rev guard. But somebody that rev guards and they do fuzzy, then you have to be very careful. At that point, you would try to just do block strings that pressure the rev gauge. What's up, Giuseppe? So that's like the easiest way to counter somebody that's revving a lot. You kind of get on top of them, commit, especially if they do it on wake up a lot. Boom. 27. 31. And that's kind of what you want to do. So with that being said, find a strategy that works. Like a character like Bijane, she has a lot of meaty overhead setups. That is a strategy. Now, while your opponent can just JD you, the reward of her hitting something like this, the reward of her hitting this, the reward of her hitting that is high. And then I get a safe jump right here. You see what I mean? And if you get hit, you lose. You essentially lose off of that hit because you just can loop a safe jump. So to get to her win condition, all you need is a hit. You see what I mean? Like a lot of times these characters will have a situation that they can get to, and every character has it. Like Marco's is literally just Tatsu knock you down overhead low. Like that's his win condition. How fast can he get there? The reason why Marco is a top tier character, because he can get to that win condition fast. He can get to that win condition at round start if you get hit by a Tatsu, and you can lose the entire game. That is a fast win condition. Bijane is not the easiest to get her win condition because she still got to get a hit. But she can get that hit in multiple ways. Like if you jump at her, you get a win condition because you can always anti-air with this. And now she can get to her win condition. You see what I mean? So it's like she has a very good anti-air, so she can actually just win condition you off of an anti-air. Every single character in this game has a win condition. You just have to find it. What would Terry's win condition be? Terry's win condition is, for one, he does a lot of damage. So if he randomly clips you with anything, he's going to potentially kill you. And because of this, moves like this, if they hit you at neutral, he can immediately steamroll you off of that one hit. Or if he hits you with a crack shoot on counter hit. So knowing that these moves are dangerous, your opponent wants to try to play around these moves. Your opponent might try to wait to try to like high dodge you and stuff like that, which allows him to run in and pressure you. You see what I mean? So the thing about him, he does so much damage, some of the most damage in the game, that even getting hit once can lead to you getting steamrolled. So his win condition, while he is a very solid character, his win condition is getting in and doing a massive amount of damage. So he can run in with an EX Fireball. He has one of the best EX Fireballs as well. So the fact that he can just run in and get free offense on you, you can get to his win condition faster because this is going to force your opponent into a situation. You know what I mean? It forces the opponent into a situation. And because he has very good normals, like his stand D is really good, anytime somebody does anything, he can get to a win condition pretty fast because just... like, that did a massive amount. He's almost 2-touch. If I touch him again, if he didn't have an SPG last, before the patch, he would have probably died. You know what I'm saying? Do I think run characters have a major advantage over dash characters? Yes, they do. Run characters definitely have an advantage over dash characters. So that would be like Terry's win condition if I was talking about win conditions. But just in general, like, so currently, for anybody that doesn't know, I main Chun-Li, right? So Chun-Li's win condition is that she has mix-ups. So at any point, I built my entire strategy of playing Chun-Li on mix-ups. So with that being said, I know every hit confirm that if I get a hit confirm, I can mix you up. Like off of this is a mix-up. Every time I get this, you're in a 50-50. So knowing that she is a 50-50 character, how did I build my strategy? The strategy I built was how many setups can I create that are auto timed so I can get overhead or low every time. So knowing this, I'm gonna always get a mix-up right here. If I can get it. Like right there, that's a mix-up. Like that's a mix-up. I can loop that into my win condition and win the game. So no matter your skill level, that is going to put you in the same situation. No matter how good at the game you are, I can beat you. Because that's a win con. I can beat you now. So you have to understand that every character is going to have something different that's going to make them strong. And you have to find that with your character choice. Yeah, I really like her playstyle in City of the Wolves. I like the way she plays. She's really good. When Kano Gato as get in and start the low stance mix-ups, do you see Gato the same way? Yes. Gato's win condition is basically getting on your block, forcing you to guess, and building up your gauge. Because Gato is really good at building your gauge. Like, he can build up the rev gauge really high because of his normals and the way his plus frames work, and he has a command grab, so you just cannot sit there. So he's really good at that, like super good at that. Just in a very aggressive like play style. So if you can get in, you can break anybody's defense no matter how good at the game they are. You can break their defense. The thing about him is getting in, you know what I'm saying? So you have to get in comfortably, but once you're in, you can basically do anything that you want because he has those mix-up options. What would you consider Ken's win condition? Ken is like, so he's in a weird boat because he has all of his Street Fighter tools and stuff. So the thing about Ken is he still retains his Gen Rai kick, and Gen Rai kick is just really good on block. Because let me turn Rev Guard off. But this is my point with Rev Guard. You see how the Rev Guard, like it took him right there to 13, and then if I do it again, it's 26, right? He can still stagger this very well. He can still stagger that very well, and because he can stagger this, And this is minus, by the way. Like, when you see, this is -6. So, how fast is Marco's uppercut? He has a 5-frame uppercut. Let me put Marco on guard. Special move. I don't know what his uppercut is called. Maybe this one. No. That's sure you. That's a Tatsu. Maybe it's this. Bet. Okay, so if I do this, that's a punish, right? That's -4. So this is free. This is free guard gauge. So the fact that he has the ability to potentially do it or not do it is really good. And it's just like that in Street Fighter 6, where it's like that move is good because it forces a reaction. So I actually think that that's good for just forcing mind games. I think Ken is one of those type of characters where if he hits you with the right starter, he can get on top of you. But the problem with him is because his neutral is the way his neutral is in this game compared to like other characters. So he's playing a different game than everybody else. But he does have huge benefits in moves hitting you, like from a strong whiff punish game. So like if he can whiff punish you, he can get a large reward because all of his moves, like even this move, he's one of those type of characters where he has to force you to whiff to beat you. And once he forces you to whiff to beat you, because he's a fundamental character, he can basically get on top of you and win the game. So his win con is not like another character like a Cain who knocks you down and set plays you and then throw loops you. He doesn't have that type of win condition. You're gonna have to like actually like wait for people to whiff and then like whiff punish them and stuff like that. That's gonna be the stuff like that. Stuff like that for corner carry. Like little things like that. His is not one of the best in the game, and that's where it's gonna separate based on tiers, like how good your character's win condition really is. It's gonna separate on tiers. Because like I said, like a Salvatore can just mix you up all day if he knocks you down. Ronaldo can set play you. Cain can set play you. Marco and Chun-Li can high-low mix you like to death. Kevin Ryan can get on you with command grabs and just knock you down and put you in a loop of mix-ups, like stuff like that. Understanding what the win condition for characters are is like super important. This would be a dope video going over each character's win condition. Yeah, that could be a potential season 2 video because I don't want to do too much until season 2 drops because we don't know, like everything might change. But I think that that's a good idea. I do think that that's a good idea. What's a win condition for Vox? Vox is just a bully up close because he has command grab and like stand D. He used to have a really good win condition off of his dash punch, but once it got nerfed on block, where you can interrupt it. Before you couldn't interrupt it. With certain buttons, you couldn't interrupt it. Like you couldn't high dodge right there because you would actually get hit off a stand D into his quarter circle forward C. But after the patch, they added a gap, so it kind of hurt him. His whole thing is just getting on top of you with a command grab and just making you yes, which isn't like a really strong win condition in this game. That's why he's on kind of like the lower end. Like, he can win, but you're definitely kind of like working to get that win with him. What's my take on Joe? So Joe, I'm not gonna lie to you, chat. I don't have much info on Joe because, for one, nobody really plays him like that, and he's just kind of undiscovered. Like, nobody really plays him in the tournament circuit like that, so you really don't get to see the character too often. Things that I think he excels at, I mean, I think that he has a solid whip punish game in his stand C, but even then, it's not one of the best. Like, somebody would have to whip something clean. Like, let me pick a character that actually might whip against you, like with actual buttons. I didn't mean to pick Preacher. So, like, if a Kain whips crouch C, right? This is a very common move for a Kain to whip. He has a stand C that's, like, really, really good. He has a stand C that's, like, really, really good, so he can reach into range and hit you for, like, whiffing. So that's pretty, like, you know, strong. I think his stand D, I always thought his stand D was really good, because stand D stagger into stand D. Like, I would do stand D and then I would do another dash stand D with him when I was playing with him. And I thought that was really good because you have to hyper defend it. Any move that you have to hyper defend is good to just see if your opponent is good at, you know, hyper defending. His fireball game was always kind of like, you know, like, okay to me. It wasn't like one of the best. I did like his EX fireball, but his fireball game just kind of seemed like okay. He, you know, he can feint it, so it can, you know, give you some mind games and stuff. But Joe is like a weird character. The main thing with him is SPG placement, because he could always he could lunge kick into rev blow, and that was really, really, really powerful. And I found that out on day one. The fact that he could do like stuff like this, that is really, really good. Really, really good. So he has a way to knock you down freely, but that would mean that you would have to run SPG on point, and a lot of people are running an anchor now, so that's the problem with that. But I do think that one of the strongest things about him is being able to just lunge at his opponent and then safely do rev blow. That is one of his strongest, because then he could just get on top of you and try to do the usual City of the Wolves offense. But yeah, he's kind of still undiscovered, so I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know how much potential he has, because I haven't really played around with him since launch, when he actually launched. But I do remember specifically that this right here is really, really good. And I think that this has a lot of potential. His like counter. I think his counter actually has a lot of potential and can be pretty cheap. And by cheap, I mean just really good. What's my opinion on Mai? I think Mai is really good in the sense that she's good at keep away. And she has the best EX fireball arguably in the entire game. Like, she has a top 3 EX fireball in the entire game. Like, it's a very, very, very slow fireball. I mean, my bad. I'm like, brain is scrambled. She has one of the best EX fireballs in the game because it's a very, very fast fireball, and it immediately goes across the screen, comes out with 2 fireballs, and if your opponent committed, they're going to get hard knocked down. If it didn't knock down, it wouldn't be strong, but the fact that it knocks down is strong. If it didn't knock down, it wouldn't be strong at all. But like the fact that this, if it snipes you at neutral, it knocks you down, boom, boom, and then it's like you can just get in freely. So I think that that's very strong about her. Her damage output is strong. A lot of her attacks hit twice. A lot of her attacks hit twice and stuff, so I think that she's really good in that, because it's not easy to hyper defend that or hyper defend that. So I think she has some stuff. Is she one of the best characters in the game? Of course not, but I don't think she's as bad as people say. I think people put her a lot lower because nobody really represents her, but I don't think she's that bad. You were watching Abu Omar's, Dongwon, and Justin's. Yeah. Abu showed 1000% that the character is viable, and I knew the character was viable. I just knew it was going to take somebody. Character is strong. Vox is getting a bit more love these days, for real. Pressuring the opponent, breaking them down defensively. That's my take for maining him. I can see that. I'm learning the game with him. Never played SNK, but coming from Mortal Kombat and trying to figure out his game plan is hard. Yeah, Joe, like I said, Joe has a counter, and Joe has like a move that just lunges across the screen. So being able to throw out that EX if you're in Rev, if you have your SPG available, is pretty strong. And then his counter, being able to counter like other Rev blows, being able to, and he has a command grab out of it. But being able to like counter out of stuff and specific moves allows for like specific punishes and stuff. So I think he's a pretty hard character, because his tools aren't like, they're not, you got to go really in depth into the mechanics of the game and punishes to like really understand the character. Yeah, the Rev Blow competitor, that shit is 1000% legit. Like if you do his flying kick into Rev, that shit, it's nothing the opponent can do about it. And it's neutral. Yeah, this is a mod. Isn't that a weakness? Nearly everything being 2 hits. If you're talking about like the double hit attacks, nah, it's a strength in this game, because it forces, the thing about double hit attacks, they can be hyper defended, but that's the only way to defend against them. And they're anti-rev. So when somebody rev guards, they're anti-rev. So like if I turn that on, you see how that hit? Boom, boom, 10, boom, boom. Like the double hit, because they don't go outside of your proxy to the end. Because like if I do this, of course she's gonna get far C. If he doesn't rev, she gets close C. So the only weakness would be it would take you out of your proxy, but then she still has you know, that. So a person would have to hyper defend, but the timings are different on my standee and stand C. So the timing is never the same. So if you mix up both of those options, it's not possible for your opponent to hyper defend both options on reaction. The only way, they would have to guess. That's why like a character like Dongwon, same thing. Like he has those double hitting attacks, and it's like you can't hyper defend both timings because the timing is different. Nah, they're all different. They're gonna all be different. Yo, Ariane, thank you for that raid. Appreciate it. Hope you have a happy new year. Yeah, the timing is completely different on this and that. You see how it's a delay in that? Like this one is fast, and then that's a delay. If you try to hyper defend, you're gonna get hit. Yeah, JD and HD is like super important, and it like it really does separate skill. Like if you know how to JD and HD, If you know how to JD and HD, it literally like separates the skill like point blank period. That's where like the skill ceiling lies in this game. Game has a huge skill ceiling because of like the defense and stuff. Yeah, I got the Chun Alpha mod too. It's like really good, like super good. But yeah, that would be like she has a really good EX Fireball. She has like the best EX Fireball arguably in the game because it just knocks you down. And it allows for her to get in, and it's fast, so because it's fast, it'll like clip somebody out there, projectile, clip them moving, or anything like that. So it allows her to get in and start her offense. I think that's really good. All right. I don't know if that's copyright. Probably is. All right. So basically, I was getting at win conditions. I know we kind of got on another topic of kind of talking about every character's win condition. But yes, I came up with a strategy, and that's the strategy I was using for, you know, all of these tournaments that I started grinding Hotaru. So I started grinding Hotaru before the SWC qualifier. I literally started grinding Hotaru like a month before, where I only was playing her in every tournament because I was focusing on her and focusing on trying to win with her specifically. And I wasn't going to switch characters or anything. I was just only picking her and trying to win and seeing, you know, fundamentally, this is my type of character. So let's see if I can, like, you know, take her to the ball game. So with that being said, I already had my mind made up on the character I was going to play. I had a winning strategy. I was entering like all of the tournaments, all the weeklies and stuff. And like I started to place really high, then I started to win some tournaments, you know, up and coming for the qualifier. So I was pretty confident that I could qualify. Like I said, confidence is everything. If you're actually able to be confident on the game, you'll be okay. But you have to be confident. You have to be like, hey, like, I do feel like I can do work. Because a lot of players will be like, oh, I'm content with going 2-2. Or the player might be like, oh, I lost to this player, so it's all good. No, you can't have that mindset. Like, you literally, if you really want to win, you have to be locked in. You have to be like, hey, I want to be the best, and I'm not gonna stop until I'm the best. If I went 2-2, how do I correct that next week? How do I correct that next week? Yo, Billy, I appreciate that. You have a good day at work. How do I... That's the thing. How do I fix my mistakes? How do I win these events? Because everybody's going to make a mistake, bro. Like, nobody is perfect. When we play these fighting games because we enjoy them, we love the competition. But everybody makes mistakes. Even the best players in the world make mistakes while they play. But how do you bounce back from that mistake? And do you let it get to you mentally? A lot of players let like mistakes get to them mentally, and you can visibly see them flustered, and you cannot be that guy. You cannot get visibly flustered. You have to be like, you have to trust in the process. Like, it's okay to make a mistake. But how do you bounce back? The bounce back is the most important. So if you lose in a tournament, how do you bounce back? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And a lot of people don't ask those type of questions to themselves mentally. Like, how do I bounce back? Damn, I did really bad in this tournament. Why did I do bad? Was my punishment right? Damn, my punishment was off. My anti-airs were off. Well, of course, if your punishment and your anti-airs is off, you're gonna lose. No matter how good you are, that day, your punishment and your anti-airs were off. So you're gonna lose. When you lose a tournament or you lose a match, that does not mean you're bad. That does not mean you're bad. Popov XO, thank you for that follow. Just because you lose a tournament or you lose a match does not mean you're bad. That could mean you're playing bad that day, or you're not playing up to your standard that day. But what about tomorrow? A lot of people don't ask themselves that. What about tomorrow? Like, okay, I lost on Monday, but I can still win a tournament too. You do understand you could lose a tournament Monday, lose a tournament Tuesday, lose a tournament Wednesday, fix all of those problems and win the tournament Friday, and then win on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for next week. You do understand you can do that, correct? Like, it's not set in stone. A lot of people think like losses are set. They're not set. You didn't play to your standard on Monday, but you can play to your standard on Tuesday. So don't put too much weight on what happened Monday. Monday is in the past now. You study why you lost Monday, and Tuesday you are a new player. That's the important part. So with that being said, I entered a lot of tournaments, like, you know, weeklies, the usual weeklies, the TNSs, the, you know, Fatal Frames, all these tournaments, right? I would enter all of these tournaments. Some I would win, some I would lose, some I would only get top 8, some, but that didn't discourage me from the actual qualifier. Now, if y'all remember back, during the qualifier, the final qualifier, because I qualified in the final qualifier for the SWC. The final qualifier was at the same time as Tokon. The Tokon beta or alpha was already, like, it was out. So that morning, my mindset was, damn, I really want to play Tokon. And I'm telling y'all this so y'all know where my mind was actually at during that phase. I wasn't thinking about the last qualifier. As a matter of fact, I actually wanted to just play Tokon and be like, man, I feel like playing Tokon. I don't even really feel like playing in this last qualifier, high key. Now, I know you would say, damn, was your focus right? Were you really locked in? I didn't get locked in until I actually got into the bracket. And then I said, I'm just going to play my best and I don't care what happens. I separated how much I wanted it from I don't care what happens, because sometimes when you really want something bad, you'll play in a certain way because you want it so bad. And I didn't want to alter any of my play. Like, I already had a play style and I had a strategy, a winning strategy that would work against every player. So there was no reason for me to alter my strategy. All I said was, I'm going to just play. I'm going to just do my best. That's all I can do. But I'm really hyped to try out this Tokon. So with that being said, chat, I lost to Reyno. Reyno is the person that put me in losers. But that was a close fight. It was literally last game, last hit, last everything. And he hit me before I hit him. And I was like, damn, nice. I respected it. I was like, nice, nice, nice. And then I had to fight Dylan to get into the top 8. And me and Dylan, it was Kaim versus Hotaru. And of course, Hotaru has an advantage over Dylan. I played with no fear because I'm like, shoot, I'm already in the losers bracket. It's all good. Let's just keep it up. Let's keep playing. So once I went to the losers bracket, I fought Dylan and I did kind of steamroll Dylan. Just because I had a mindset of I'm just going to do whatever I feel like and I'm not afraid. And I was able to beat Dylan. And I was like, damn, okay. I made top 8. I was like, hold up. I'm in top 8 for tomorrow. I'm excited, but let's just do what I already did to get to the top 8. You see what I mean? Like, let's not switch up anything in my mind, even though I'm in top 8. Who knows? Realistically, chat, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Me making top 8, I didn't think I was going to win. And it's not because I doubted myself. It was like, I usually always come up short in every tournament that like matters. Like the really, really big tournaments, I usually come up short to some degree, whether it be a second place, a third place, or whatever. It's never first, right? Especially in a tournament of that caliber that really mattered. So I was more like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm gonna just play my best. But realistically, that morning that I woke up, I didn't think I was gonna be the winner because of so many shortcomings, right? But throughout that whole bracket, there were a lot of moments where I could have lost, but I didn't. So some could call it destiny, some could call it fate, or some could call it, my mindset was so right because I literally said to myself, the further in the bracket I got, I said, damn, I'm actually winning a lot. Is it really possible? I kept saying that to myself, like, is this really possible that I'm really about to win this? And after Corvallis had me up 0-2 and I came back reverse 3-0, I was like, it's no way. And the moment that happened, once I had to fight Rondon, that's when I knew I was like, I'm about to win. Because all of the confidence was building throughout every single victory because I was just playing with nothing on the line in my brain. I had nothing on the line. If I lost, I was just going to go to the LCQ. But because of my mindset, every win gave me the confidence boost. Every win gave me the confidence boost. So once I got to Rondon, and I had to like beat Rondon, I had to reset. Once I got to Rondon, I was like, damn, I can actually win this. Knowing Rondon is a younger player, he was like super young, I used some strategies on him that I would only use on a younger player. And I can go in depth into that if y'all would like to explain how do you beat a younger player versus like an older player, like kind of like in my age range. There is a strategy I do use against younger players versus players in my age range. There is a strategy. What tournament am I talking about? I'm talking about the SWC qualifier. Yeah, Reyno is cool. He definitely helps people improve. So with that being said, once I fought Rondon, I had like a set strategy that I was going to use against him because I knew he was younger. And the strategy worked. It actually worked. Which was like, wow. And I won. Yo, the Pigman, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so there's a strategy against younger players versus newer players. I mean, not newer players, but older players. The strategy that I use, if you're a younger player, especially if you're NA, like if you're a younger player, you're NA, generally younger players' patience levels are not high. They're very, generally speaking, not the highest. And they're probably more of an aggressive player and more of a risk taker. And knowing that a player is more of a risk taker and they're more aggressive, my style is like super passive, but I can turn into a super lame player, or I could try to out aggression you, right? Against Rondon, I was very passive, but there would be bursts of me just going on like super duper offense. Yo, Neil, thank you for the follow. And I would go on super duper offense knowing how he was going to defend me. And I wasn't uppercutting much in the set until the uppercuts that I needed. And the uppercuts that I did do did not get baited. They hit. Because I gave him a comfortability of playing offensive against me with no uppercuts. And then when I needed the uppercuts, I used them because now I know they're going to hit because he's not going to bait me ever because he's so comfortable just offense to me. And that's because he is a younger player, generally speaking. They're going to keep doing something that's comfortable because they want the win. They want the ability to beat you. For such a high stake, they want to use that against you. They just want to offense you and beat you. So because I knew that he wanted it, and he was gonna keep playing aggressive, I used that against him. And it was still a close set. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying like it was easy or anything. It was still really hard to beat him because it was like down to the wire. But my point is I had a strategy going in against him because he was a younger player. So I feel like knowing that, once I qualified and once I won the tournament, it was like, damn, I actually did it. And it was emotional because it was like, damn, like all of these years I've really wanted that like big W of something of that nature, and being able to do it in the last qualifier was just, it was phenomenal. It was crazy. It was a feeling like no other. I can't even explain the feeling. It was just a rush of emotions and a rush of like, damn, like you really are one of the best at this game. And you proved it. Like you showed that you are a threat in this game, and you are a threat in any game that you pick up if you stick to it. And this is one of the games that I stuck to, because usually I'll play a game for a minute and just bounce to another game, but this one I actually stuck to. Yo, what's good, Dez? So with that being said, I had the right mindset going in, but it wasn't all the way locked in. It wasn't all the way locked in. That's why I'm telling y'all, I wanted to play Tokon. I didn't even feel like playing that qualifier, and that qualifier changed my life. You see what I mean? I didn't even feel like playing in it. I felt like playing Tokon more at that point. But because I just played with a clear mind, I was able to win one of the biggest tournaments that I needed to win to qualify for the biggest tournament. Because my mind was clear. I wasn't thinking about any option being a bad option. I was choosing the options and with no regrets. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to command grab you. I'm going to run at you. I'm going to do whatever I want. And it worked. And sometimes if you play with a clear mind, things will work, versus if you stress out about the victory. If I literally was stressing that tournament and be like, oh my god, this is the last qualifier, I really need to qualify. If I don't, I'm gonna have to go to the LCQ, and I really don't want to play in the LCQ because it's gonna be sweaty. What am I gonna do? I gotta lock in with Hotaru. I gotta practice and train every day. Bro, I barely trained. For that moment, I barely trained because I didn't train the night before or anything. I was just chilling. That is the strength of playing with a clear mind. If you play with a clear mindset, you're good. You just got to play with a clear mindset. Do not stress the victory. Do not stress the tournament. Just play the same way you would play. Because if you play the same way you would play like online, and then you go to like an offline that's really big and you play the same way, very comfortable, very relaxing, you're listening to your favorite song while you play, you're going to play good. You're gonna, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna actually play good. It's when you're like nervous and you're thinking about everything and you're thinking about the weight of the tournament. And that's why at SWC, one of the things about me, I was thinking about the weight of the tournament because I had never played in a tournament for $1 million. That was a lot of money on the line. So like there was a lot of weight on my shoulders, and a lot of people were 1000% rooting me on from home. Like a lot of people at even like the job I used to have were like really rooting for me. Like people from other friend groups were rooting for me. It was a lot of people with like literally their energy in the air like a spirit bomb. You feel me? And it was a lot of weight on me because I was like, damn, I don't want to let them down. So I let the weight of the tournament not allow me to play the way I wanted to or play to the best of my abilities. And that was a learning experience, you know? That happens. That's why I'm telling y'all, so y'all don't let that happen. Like if you do qualify for a big event, don't let the weight of everything crumble on top of you. Just play your game, and no matter what happens, you did your best. I think that that's very important. Were there any players you were surprised didn't make it to the SWC? Not really surprised, but some of the NA top, like a Chris G or Reynal, you know, they lost in the LCQ. which is unfortunate. But some of those players are like, I mean, they're super strong. It was a lot of strong players because RB didn't make it out either. Like, it was a lot of strong players that just didn't qualify. So it was more like the level of competition was just high. Yo, Common, what's good? Yeah, like Shadow, I looked at some of his matches in pools. He was cooking. It's just the level of competition was really high, and it's just hard for everybody to qualify, you know? Like, really, really hard for everybody to qualify. But, had to play Kosei after winning my first run of LCQ. I knew I was GG's. But see, Arlo, that's the thing, too. You always have to use that confidence against the player that you're gonna play sometimes, because even if you do feel like that player is stronger than you, you have to come in swinging. Like, this isn't gonna be free for you, and you might come out with the victory if you feel like that. Yeah, it definitely was a Royal Rumble, for real, for real. So mindset at the SWC, at the actual event, I already knew I was fighting ZJZ. So knowing that I was fighting ZJZ, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, but I never not thought that I could beat him. Like, I actually had a strategy against him. And like, the thing about it is, I can actually find the match and we can watch it. The thing about it was, ZJZ is a very, very patient and solid player, and he's like really, really hard to beat. He's just like really, really hard to beat. And I felt like I could beat him. I definitely felt like I could beat him. Like, I was never like, oh no, I ain't gonna be able to beat him. Like, nah, I wasn't thinking like that. I knew I could beat him, but I knew I would have to get the right amount of everything to beat him. The right amount of momentum, the right amount of like literally everything. I think, did I play on day 2? I think I played day 1. Let me find the match check. Give me 1 sec. Oh, I already found it. It was still on me. Oh, it's kind of laggy. Hold up. Might be using too many resources. Let me see. Yeah, Steve was a heartbreaker because he definitely Steve was a heartbreaker because he definitely could have qualified at the tournament where he fought the Geo. Yeah, he fought the Geo and lost. So that was very unfortunate. I don't know why my YouTube chat has been doing this lately, where it's like, it's almost like a glitch where it starts like lagging. Like, YouTube will just randomly lag. I don't know what that's about though. I don't know how to fix it. Let's see if I go 720. Let's see if I can go 720 and then not lag. Let's see. This might be a little better. Okay. It's still laggy. Yeah, it's laggy. I don't know why it's been doing that lately. My YouTube, sometimes it'll just be like laggy. But I don't know why. Let me see. Close Fatal Fury and see if that makes a difference. Hey, what's up, bro? Is Fatal Fury a good game for beginner fighting game players? I'll be honest with you. Do I think it's a game for beginners? I think a beginner can get on and, you know, execute the combos and enjoy the game. But the game has a lot of advanced things. So it would be hard for a beginner to get on and just play, especially if you're playing against better players. It would just be like impossible for you to beat them unless you master the mechanics. So it's not the easiest at all. But I think a player could get on and play the game and do, like I said, in combos, because like the combo system is pretty easy. It's just special move and a special move. But I think once you start diving into the mechanics, it gets a little... Yo, El Rayo Mac, what's up? Let me see. Okay, see, now it's moving in regular speed. Okay. All right, chat. I think we're good now. It's moving regular. I think I just had too much going on my computer. All right, so I just want to show a couple of things. So there's JD and HD in this game. It's like a defensive mechanic that's like the core of the game, and it's not the easiest necessarily to do. So it's like you can interrupt block strings and stuff. So it's like a defense, like it's a defense thing. Yeah, City of the Wolves is definitely for like old heads that like games. So y'all see, like I got the hit right. Oh, see, this is already after I'm already 0-2'd. Hold up. I want to go back to like the first match. All right, so you see how confident I was against him? The first thing I did was run up command grab because I knew he was a more defensive player, and that's from just research. I knew he was a pretty defensive player, so I immediately start off the match with a command grab. And then I do a block string for an anti like hold up setup. So right there, I do a block string that if he tries to hold up, he's gonna get hit guaranteed, and he tried to hold up. Then I do my meaty setup, bam bam, and then he hits me because I try to bait, and then he gets a big counter hit, and that's a big counter hit. And then he did the setup that I like to do for meaty, so that was like really good. And then like right here, I'm playing defensive. I do get a knockdown, and then boom, I jump on top of him. That was a really big jump, and boom, boom, super that. Boom. And then I hit him on counter hit, and he dies. So I did a delayed reflect kick. If he blocked it, I was plus. If he backdashed, I hit him, and if he presses a button late, I counter hit him, and that's exactly what happened. That was a very, very good hit confirmed by ZJZ. So round start, he literally chunks my whole life bar. And then I don't DP, he does bait. And then he hits me with an uppercut for jumping. I short hopped, he hit me, then he chased my roll with a command grab, so that was a perfect game. So now, with that being said, I had a pretty good round, he had a pretty good round. So now you have to ask yourself, what happens after this? You had a good round, he had a good round. What happens next, chat? That's what you have to ask yourself. I jumped to try to beat him trying to uppercut me, because if I got him to uppercut and I did rev blow, I could basically delete him. But he didn't. He did stand C. I'm not sure if that was on purpose. And I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to do that. I backdash, he hit me. I tried to move and he hit me. And this is just a bad round. So this could have all been avoided. This is what I'm talking about. All of this could have been avoided if I would have played a little slower at the beginning. I jumped at him. I tried to rev. He does stand C. He does stand D. That stand D was unsafe. I throw a bad fireball. He jumps it. All of the things are snowballing right now. I need to slow the match down as fast as possible, because everything that's happening is starting to snowball. All of my options are becoming bad options. He does stand D, I rev it, and he runs and chases my backdash down. And then he hits me with a reflect kick. Everything is going wrong right now. Every single thing is going wrong. So it's a snowball effect. Now every decision that I have made has costed me in this round. So I can still win this round, but it's going to be very, very hard to win this round. I block because I know he's plus on that setup. Bad fireball again, but I don't die because of it. Runs up throw. Okay, I can still win this. But I backdash, so I tried to JD. And I backdash. So after that, I'm like, damn, I had a really good first round. But then it just went left. So how do I make it not go left? Between your main and the other character, or do you check out other stuff to see what else is up and see if it works for your main? Usually when I lab stuff specifically, I lab stuff with my main, but then I use it for a general context of what's punishable with everybody. Oh, that was big. He didn't mean to do that. And I'm glad I was doing combos. Like, I wasn't dropping combos, so the execution was not bad. A good meaty setup. He challenges immediately. Nice DP by me. Okay. Good fireball, good reflect. Okay, still not playing bad, but he does hit my short hop, which is a really, really good DP. Why you didn't use headphones? Usually at tournaments, like big tournaments, I like to not use headphones. I actually like hearing the crowd, and it kind of pumps me up. It kind of motivates me. But some tournaments, I just don't like headphones because it's almost like I'm focusing on the headphones more than the match, if that makes sense. I know that sounds weird, but it's almost how that feels anytime I would use headphones at big events. I would be focusing more on the headphones than the actual match. Now, some tournaments I can lock in and use headphones, but it's like very challenging for me. Because I think at one point I did have them on and I took them off. Because I was just like, I can't feel the game. And right now I'm just kind of getting red. And then when you look at this, it's just like, damn, it's about decision making. It's literally just coming down to decision making. He's making good decisions, I'm making bad decisions. So it's like, I like how clean I was looking at this tournament, though. I felt good. Mentally, I was in a really good spot. Like, mentally. And just physically. I was in a good spot. That guy, DJ, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. Yeah, ZJZ was playing, like, really, really strong. And then right here, like I got the hit and did not commit, and that was big. Once I didn't commit, I was like, okay, like that could have been really big. And the fact that I missed that opportunity is bad. Then I throw a bad fireball again because he was pretty confident in jumping at this point. Yeah, bad uppercut. I haven't uppercutted too much on Wake Up, but that was just a bad uppercut. I think I did it again, didn't I? Nah, I took the meaty. He's too good at hitting short hops. I wanted to like short hop him because I was like, okay, I can at least get some offense from short hop. But he was just too focused on anti-air me. But that meant he was waiting on the short hop. Okay, I'm pressuring him a little bit more. I'm getting a little more aggressive. Nice. He just ran up and hit me. I was trying to move backwards. If he gets a stand D, he wins. If he stand Ds, he wins the game. So like right now I'm in a dangerous territory because if he hit confirms me, I lose. Now I'm trying not to throw a bad fireball. That's why you see me like very patient with the fireballs because I want him to jump. Beautiful JDs. See, I'm fishing myself trying to get a hit confirm and I run right into it and I die. So he didn't have to take a risk at all. There's no risk to be made. Because he didn't take a risk, he won the entire game. Because if he would have got hit by a stand D from me, I would have took him to like right around here. Then I could have probably did another stand D or offense and killed. But losing to him was much more of an experience because I fought a lot of players in my fighting game journey. Like I fought a lot of players. I've like fought the Daigos, I fought Momochi, I fought Tokido, I fought Mago. I fought all of the usual fighting game legends in tournament brackets. So like nerves never get to me. I'm just like used to that level of competition. A lot of those players have always been stronger than me. Like they're just powerful, and I've had good sets against them, but never the closeouts because of the level of play and the experience, right? But getting to that level of play and being able to beat these players is the key in 2026. Being able to play Samurai Showdown and Fatal Fury at a high level to be able to compete with all levels of players no matter what, because you put yourself in that elite category with them as well to be able to beat them. That's like the play. And that's why somebody like Mena is a very confident individual. He's a very strong individual. But his mindset going into tournaments, if y'all haven't ever watched that like Evo little documentary he did where like he was basically talking about all of his matches and how he was feeling and how he was thinking, y'all should definitely peep that because it was really good watch. But just the way he approaches matchups and the way he approaches like different things, you know, he was talking to other players before the match, like how they felt about this matchup, how they felt about this, you know, specifically. Because he has that winning mentality. He has a winning mentality, and he's able to craft a winning strategy. And I think going into the new year, playing City of the Wolves Season 2 and going and playing Samurai Showdown, I'm gonna have to keep the mental strong and just keep like developing strategies and watch these players and understanding why certain things align how they align. Because DJZ was playing so good at this tournament, he literally got like fourth or something. He made it really, really far because he was just playing on a whole nother level. And knowing that he was playing on a whole nother level, he's human. I can get to that same level, but I gotta push myself. Try to get strong enough to run a good set with you. Hey, let's go. I respect that. Yo, what's good, Diphone? Yeah, he's just really fucking good, bro. Like, it's easy. You know how like people will be like, you know, they'll be at home and they'll be like, bro, yeah, you could have did this, this, and this. But when you're in a hot seat against that player, how strong he is, it's rough. And a lot of those players are rough. And I feel like our competition here and what they got going on over there, because Mexico is really, really strong. Like, I'm gonna say this right now, like Mexico is like really, really strong in SNK in general, but like City of the Wolves are really, really strong. And that's why, hey, look at Lokov, how good Lokov did at the tournament, how good Danny did. Like, they're really, really strong. And Danny cooked me up all weekend. Like, I was getting cooked. Like, I feel like getting good at this game is difficult. It's not easy because there's a lot of factors, and region by region really matters in this game. Like, regions matter in this game a lot. Like, a lot. You have to be really, really powerful to win. And you, especially in this meta where, you know, your character choice did specifically matter to a degree. It really did matter of like what character you were picking and how much experience somebody had against your character. Yeah, that shit mattered. Season 2 hopefully will change a bit of that. I hope season 2 changes to where at least like a lot more characters are like viable, and like the top tiers get nerfed to where everybody can kind of play what they want to play. I think that'd be cool. What's up, Joe Sean? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a showdown for sure. Yeah, you can't feel that through the screen. A top player's pressure, like the way they put the situations they put you in, it's like difficult. And that's the thing, like at this event, me and Diaphone literally had the fate of NA on our on our shoulders. And like while me and him both could have done better, me and him earned that spot 1000%, and we should have been there because we're some of the best players in NA period. We earned that spot. It's just the level of competition there was fierce, and we were gonna have to play at a whole different level. Yeah, you were playing a lot of Art of Fighting, but Art of Fighting you cooked. That's the thing. It's like you put a lot of time into Art of Fighting, but you did cook in that bracket. So a lot of what you put, the time you put in still benefited you, which is good. That's why I'm putting a lot of time into Samurai Showdown, because I feel like I can make it for Sam Show and City of the Wolves. But I just I'm very curious on season 2, if that makes sense. Like, season 2 is gonna be the deciding factor. Because I'm gonna stick with Chun-Li, because I don't see her going anywhere down. I see, if anything, her getting buffed. So I'm gonna definitely stick with Chun-Li, but I just kind of need to see what happens. You know, like the overall balance of the game. South America, Japan, NA, etc. Even Pakistan has some good players. Yeah, like everybody's so strong. Yeah, Chun-Li is really fun. Europe is strong. Yeah, so basically, I ain't gonna hold you, Diaphone. Like, I haven't been playing this game at all because I'm waiting on season 2. My plan is to go to Frosty's and Genesis, because those are 2 qualifiers. But I definitely feel like she's strong. I do feel like she's strong. I feel like in a tournament setting, she's even stronger. Like, I've ran some sets and stuff, not recently, but I think in tournament settings, she's very strong just because of the fact that if she hits you, it's a potential Marco situation where she just 50-50s you to death and she wins. I do feel like that's a strong factor. So I do feel like she's a perfect tournament character. But I would like to see what happens with a balance patch where some of the top tiers go down, because they could potentially boost her up, you know? So I want to see that specifically, and then we'll go from there. Season 2 is exciting. Like, nonetheless, Season 2 is exciting, but I just really want to see where they go with the balance patch and what happens to characters, because everything could change. I even saw, like, Allion saying, he was like, he might, you know, really main, like, Ronaldo depending on the patch. It's like a lot of things could happen. You know, never know. Dongwon could be the next top tier. You never know. Like, it's so many factors that could happen, but all I do hope is that Hotaru does get touched, Kain gets touched, and Hokutomaru. Hokutomaru is the one I want touched the most, because I just I don't like the playstyle. I have nothing against anybody that plays him. It's just like his playstyle and the way he's set up is really, really powerful in this game. So I definitely hope that he gets nerfed really badly. Preacher will rise in Season 2. Yeah, Preacher's in a good spot right now. I felt like if people get nerfed, Preacher's definitely top 5. If like all the top tiers get nerfed, she's auto top 5. Because she'll probably get more buffs too. So all in this to say, chat, if you're looking to qualify for SWC 2026 in any shape, form, or fashion, I feel like pick out the event you want to go to, pick the character you want, and just make sure they're stabilized to where think about everything. Do not think about long sets. Think about 2 out of 3. Everything is 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. So always think about it in a tournament setting. If you're looking to actually compete, can your character put a person in really bad spots in a 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5? Because some characters are better in long sets, and some characters are better in like 2 out of 3. Some characters are better in 3 out of 5. Like, imagine fighting like El Fuerte in bracket in Street Fighter, bro. El Fuerte in a 2 out of 3 was scary, bro. El Fuerte in a long set, it kind of sucks. El Fuerte in short set, that man is a menace. He can get you. So you have to think about that. Like, that's very important strategies to think of. Hope they don't overtune someone. Yeah, I just hope it's balanced. That's my only thing about it. I just hope it's a very good balance. If it's a very good balance, then we'll be okay. Also, don't get discouraged from anything that happens. Don't get discouraged from anything that happens in game. Like, if you're playing and you're losing a lot, do not get discouraged. Remember, everybody is human and everybody makes mistakes in fighting games. It's how many mistakes the person makes. A lot of like the best players don't make a lot of mistakes. So when they do make a mistake, you have to capitalize. Imagine them making like 3 mistakes around and you didn't punish any of them. You're probably going to lose. But if they made 3 mistakes and you punished all of them severely, then the chances of you winning is, you know, increased. So what is this? My, Vox, Janae, Kevin, and Dongwon. I could see that. That's a pretty good list of people. I know Mai has to get buffed. Yeah, Dongwon I could see getting Omega buffed, I'm not gonna lie. T-Zoc, I actually think T-Zoc should get Omega buffed and be a potential top 5 threat. I mean, he's struggled long enough. I actually think that he needs to get buffed. Him getting buffed would be cool. Just seeing him on the screen, because he's never on the screen. Get red pretty easily on your stance options. Yeah, Gato is definitely not a long set character. Gato is only a long set character if you're using like his parry, like his counter. Gato is more of a short set character. For real, people been up playing Mai? Interesting. You want no buffs? What you talking about, like in general or for Rock? Do we have a date for season 2? Not yet. They just said January. Hopefully it's soon because, like I said, Frosty's is at the end of the month, and the last thing you want is a balance patch right before Frosty's. Yeah, Punko with Gato is nuts. Punko's Gato is really fun to fight. I fought him in a set in the lobby. We played like a longer set. So basically me and Punko's set went like this. I beat him 5-4. And he got kind of upset and told me to sit back down because I was about to get up. Somebody wanted to play and I was like, okay, bet. And he was like, no. I was like, what? All right, bet. I'll run another game. So we played again and he won. It was 5-5. He won again. It was 5-5. And we just, yeah, he was basically like, sit your ass back down. Where you think you going? And basically after that, we basically just went even. That was so funny. He said, he was like, nah, sit down. Cause Xiao Hai was laughing because Xiao Hai kept like trying to get his phone or something. They were like trying to get the phone. And like Punko was getting irritated because I was just hitting him with Hotaru. And he was like, bro, like y'all need to leave me alone, bro. I'm trying to run the set. And Xiao Hai just started laughing. I'm like, y'all boys tripping. But yeah, fighting his Gato was definitely an experience. It was funny. What's good, Ferno, though? Yo, Scar, the homie Scar. Yes, sir, Buff Ken. Okay, so basically, I see what Common is saying. I'm more in the boat of buff all characters, nerf all top tiers. Right? I don't mind if we have a new, like, so for example, chat, if the new top 5 was Preacher, Rock, Terry, Janae, and like Salvatore, I wouldn't be hating. I would be okay with that. It's something new. And then if the other characters were still as strong, I wouldn't be hating. I would be okay with that. The thing is, I think in every fighting game, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just thinking of the grand scheme of things of fighting games. I think in most fighting games, there's always that group. I think that there's always that group of characters. Like in Street Fighter 6, Ed is really strong. Mai is really strong. Ryu is really strong. More people are playing Sagat now. I think that there's always going to be that group of characters that's just strong. And I think that that's okay. And I also think that in SNK, because you gotta understand too, no matter what, this game has so much money that people are only gonna pick 5 characters regardless. It just has too much money on the line. I think people will pick all those 5 characters regardless. I just think that the severity of how much money on the line, they're gonna play those characters. Because even like I said in Street Fighter 6, it's still like 5 dominant characters that's like really, really strong, and then everybody else is just good. Like Ken is not doing work in tournaments. You feel me? It's literally Ryu. Now Ken can do work, you know, like if like a Chris T is playing or somebody like that, but just in general speaking, it's like predominantly Ryu. So I think Ryu, Mai, Bison, Ed. Yeah, now especially with Sagat, like a lot more people are like trying out Sagat. Like you got Blas cooking, Enzo the Hokage is cooking with Sagat. Like you just see a little more Sagat. It's like I feel like the game is one of those things where people are gonna pick those type of characters. Generally, when a game's been out for years, is when you see people pick around the cast. Right. How do you approach neutral with Hotaru versus characters like Marco and Ronaldo that have ways to push the fireball on reaction to punish the fireball? Well, Hotaru, like when somebody has like an instant super that they can super your projectile, you want to feint more. If you feint, they might actually commit. You want to feint or shoot projectiles at a closer range where they can't react. Yeah, like the cast in City of the Wolves is like really strong. Yo, Pony with the resub, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. The cast is really like, because a lot of these characters aren't even bad in City of the Wolves. The problem is like when you have like all of these strong characters, nobody's gonna pick those characters. That's the problem. So with how SWC went down with so many Hotarus, with a lot of Hokutomarus, with, you know, Kain or whatever, you have to find that common balance, you know? And right now, there's really no reason to pick some of the cast because, like, how polarizing Hotaru is. Like, she's, like, one of the strongest characters in the entire game, in fighting games, high key, because it's just she doesn't have a weakness. When she does what she does, it's very powerful and it's hard to stop. So you have to find a balance where you can make a character like. But you know what? Another thing, when you look back at like Mark of the Wolves. Now I don't know too much about Mark of the Wolves, but I have watched the high level play. And like when you look at a character like B. Janae, you can see why she's good in that game based on the mechanics of the game and the way she plays the mechanics of the game. When you play the system well, you're gonna be an auto top tier. And some of these characters just play the system well, and that'll never change. You see what I mean? A lot of these characters play the system well because Rock apparently was bad in Mark of the Wolves, but he's better in this game. And it's just like, by being able to play the system well, you'll automatically be top tier. It's kind of like the same in Samurai Showdown. Baiken plays the system well. She's basically cheating some of the system. So, what's up, Spark? She's cheating some of the system. Baiken is literally cheating some of the system in Samurai Showdown with an undeflectable crouch B that's like ridiculously like one of the best normals in the game. On top of it's the way she's designed versus where everybody else is designed. She has a 6'6" that is not treated like a heavy, it's treated like a medium. Yeah, Hotaru wasn't top tier in Mark of the Wolves either because, again, like, she plays the system well in this game versus how she played in that game. And a lot of her tools were a little slightly different. She had these tools, but they were different because her break attack in that game was a reflect kick. Do you have a drill routine to learn or master all the game mechanics? Usually I would train against the character. So like if I was struggling against Billy Kane's just defending him, I would do his moves on my block and just practice them and get that in my muscle memory. Makayo, thank you for that follow. Soul Narrow, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. And like Kevin, same thing. Kevin was like Omega God tier in Mark of the Wolves, and in this game, he's like, you know, a solid mid tier. So it's like, it just depends on the system of the game if the character is gonna be good. That's the unfortunate thing about the game. It's like, it just depends on if the character is going to be good based on the system mechanics and their tool set. Because sometimes tool sets don't, you know, they don't transition well. Like Janae is still good. She has high damage and she has good block strings, but her rev guard exists in this game, so she's pushed back on a 5-frame normal. She's not able to like guard break you with stand C loops. So that's the problem. Like, the mechanics have changed, so she's kind of a different character. In terms of close range Oki, when the high low ain't available, do you think Mr. Big should just meaty plus frames or go for the double hop stuff like some other characters? I would probably take plus frames. Plus frames or command grab, because at least he can apply pressure with plus frame or a command grab. So I would probably just go for a command grab, like strike throw mix with him if I couldn't get the high low. But everything about him is high low, so like you should always be trying to go for the high low. But if you can't get it, it should just be straight strike throw. Yeah, Billy turned out ridiculous. Like, but you know what? Again, it's those mechanics. Billy is really good because of the mechanics and the way he plays the game mechanically. His buttons are ridiculous in this game, but the way he, especially before he got nerfed, the way he was revving you up and being plus was just insane. I feel like all Ken needs is better frame data on his button, feint, set play, and the ability to combo Rev Rekka with normal hit low 4, and he's Gucci. Shoot, those could be some good buffs for Ken. I'm all for whatever would make more people play Ken. I don't even care if they make Ken broken. Like, they could make Ken top tier, top 5. I don't care. Please do it. I just want to see new stuff. I think some characters just have to play more into system mechanics than other. I personally think Vox is really good, but you have to master the use of system mechanics to truly make him shine. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, the system mechanics are very important. Like, if you master system mechanics on certain characters, it makes the characters better. Like Dongwon, like if you're really good at just defending in the air, it makes him a better character versus if you can't, you know? Maya is the same way, because if her dive counter hits you for trying to anti-air her, she can actually delete your life bar. Do I think season 2 will have more guest characters? If it does, it's going to be from more SNK games. It's not going to be like crazy guest characters, just in my opinion. Vox and Gato in the same boat. Yeah, they are, because Gato, the only way to play him is system mechanically. You can't even play Vox if you can't use system mechanics. Yeah, I've seen his Mai. His Mai is ridiculous, and yeah, Alvo and Mar is like ridiculous with Dogwan. But yeah, we'll see. Season 2, I just want a date at this point. I just don't want it to release before Frosty's. That's the only thing. I don't want the patch to release right before Frosty's, and then you get on a plane to play a game that you don't know anything about, you know? I'm salty. Common became Garu before me. That man Common been cooking. Frosties is like literally the end of the month. And I'm just afraid that they're going to drop it right before the tournament. And that's just not going to be a good look. I want it at least like next week at best. Make 5e special cancel. Make his 214C a reflect. Make his DP fireball involved that they are used in some scenario. Also make his meterless roll safer to use in neutral and give the possibility of some kind of follow-up. I want his roll to just go through fireballs. I think if Kevin's roll went through fireballs like instantly on some like Abel shit, he would be a lot better. 2 weeks before Frosty is fine. I think 2 weeks before Frosty is actually fine. I think anything other than that, like a week before, is too much. Or like, let me see. We need the patch next week or the week after, guaranteed. It will have to be literally next week or the week after. Let me see. Let me start GG it. I don't know why Star GG now verifies if you're a human, like a bot can just get off on there. Frosty Faustings is when... That shit is January 29th through February the 1st. So January 29th. We need the patch like right here. We need either the patch on the 9th or the 16th. We have to get it then. If we don't get it right here, we're cooked. Because if we get it the week before, nah. It's going to be an L. Yeah. That would be an L, bro. Yo, hi Danny with the sub. Yo, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, family. I mean, we'll have to see. I really hope it's next week, though. Yeah, Frosties is the first stop to the SWC. Frosties into Genesis. Genesis is like 2 weeks after. I'm trying to basically just go to Bo. Off the YouTube onto the Twitch. I appreciate you, Danny. If it's a week before the Mr. Big player is about to cook up at Frosty's, yeah, I haven't even fought Mr. Big one time like that because I haven't really been playing much of Season 1 anymore. I just been waiting on Season 2, so I'm probably the person that's going to be getting cooked. Of course, I'm a train right before the tournament, but... Yeah, probably after, like, once Season 2 drops, I'm gonna, like, go more in depth into, like, all the characters' changes. Probably make a video, of course, about all the changes of the characters, and then go from there and kind of, like, lab out everything. Top 20 is so funny. Yeah, it's qualifiers all year, so yeah, we got a good amount of time to, like, cook. And then, like I said, Sam Show has some qualifiers that I'm gonna try to go to and qualify as well. So I got a lot of Sam Show and a lot of City of the Wolves going on next year. Honestly, my goal is to, like I said on Twitter, my goal is to try to win Fatal Fury and Samurai Showdown at SWC. But first, I just need a spot in there, and I can get that. Bet Spark. Yeah, like once Season 2 drops, I'll probably like have one of those streams where y'all can educate me on some of those characters that I don't really know. But I'm excited for the year. Definitely excited. Definitely excited. Alright, on that note, chat, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call that. I appreciate y'all dropping a little bit of knowledge on mindset and how to qualify for the SWC, especially for next year. Yeah, now that we're in 2026, let's get it. Let's grind, let's get better together. That's the key. Y'all can always come to my stream if you want to just vibe and just chill and, you know, get better. I got y'all. Let's see. I'm gonna send y'all to Kula. Kula just went live. Y'all already know Kula with the Ronaldo vibes. One of the best Ronaldos in the entire world. So y'all go show Kula some love, and I will see y'all later. Peace.